coming to this like, half cocked. So yes.
No, yes. The end of this story is going to be
another. Yes. I hired Connor about 6 months ago. If you're a previous listener, this is one of the people probably in the race of Evan Cox's finest moment. And we do the exact same job, and it came full circle, and now we work together. He's trying to sabotage that at the moment, but I'm trying to unsabotage it because that's what friends do.
Hey, that's beautiful. Speaking of
okay. That's a good segue right there.
High school
friends. There we go.
Speaking of high school friends,
I planned that.
What a long, strange trip it's been. Welcome to HowDoWeHuman. It is the podcast where we overanalyze all of the weird and uncomfortable micro moments in life. I am one of your hosts, Evan Cox.
I'm one of your hosts, Chris Binning.
And hey, today, it's been a while, but we got a special guest. And this is, probably some of your first time listening because this guest's name sparkles across. And this is the first person we've had on, a Grace Harborite, someone from my neck of the woods who's known me for a very long time. We've got From the Realms of Strength podcast, Dustin Chadwick. Dustin, say hi.
Hello, all you beautiful people.
Today, we're talking about yearbooks. Dustin, you reached out a while ago, and you said, what I just did with someone that was way more fun than it had any right to be, is just pull up yearbooks and look at insane shit people wrote in there. And you particularly sent some insane shit that I wrote in there.
Yeah, it was good. It was really on point.
Yeah, this is an episode. So, hey, I gotta open with something. This is important. So Dustin mentioned that, months ago?
Probably. Mm-hmm.
And I reached out to Chris. And Chris was like, hey man, I don't have my yearbooks. They're back in Arizona. Damn. Okay, maybe we wait until back to school time. So we're getting near there. Chris just went to Arizona.
This is, by the way, in fact, not back to school time. This is the complete opposite of that. This is back to summertime.
We're close to back to school time. And what begins back to school time more than back to summer?
More than end of school time.
You can't. There's no beginning without an end, baby. Anyways. We waited months. Chris went to Arizona. He didn't bring all them books back, but he screenshotted a bunch of stuff. And I talked to Dustin. Dustin's like, yeah, let's go. I talked to Chris. Chris was like, yeah, let's go. I'm like, finally. And then last night, I realized I've moved. All of my yearbooks are in storage. I am the one that did not have their yearbooks on them. I was able to go back. I found some photos because I'm a nostalgic fool in my Elma Track and Field shirt. So I've got some screenshots. I've got some things to talk about.
Also, we have the same
apologize. We do have the same.
So that'll help a few things potentially.
To be fair, it's not like, although that would be interesting.
I mean, I bet the first 3 pages of mine are different than yours.
Actually, here's a point. Let's talk about yearbooks. Signing someone else's yearbook. How? I mean, there's the people you know really well. You're going to sign some shit. But otherwise, are you writing the same thing in everyone's yearbook? And
this is a good point because I read Brienne's yearbook and most of those comments are not worth the ink they're written on. Because for some reason, all my wife's friends were the ones that write the same thing in everyone's yearbook. And you can tell they're uncomfortable writing the same thing too, because they're like, man, are people going to cross-check this? I feel like there might be a commonality of people that did a lot of cheating in high school and also canning the same response to everyone. Maybe if they're smart, they did too. Yeah, but they're definitely the people that wrote the same one. I was like, you should probably just not sign it if you're going to do that, kids.
Have a nice summer. Have a great summer. As Chris mentioned to me, Hags. I forgot about Hags. Just Hags.
Yeah, Hags was a big one for sure. Have a great summer or have a good summer. Yeah, first of all, thank you for suggesting this topic, because it was, as you alluded to, Dustin, more fun than it had any right to be. And like also a little heartwarming to go back and be like, look at all these people I've never talked to again who said such nice things about me.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you cross all these thresholds of like pure joy to almost depression to like sorrow. I mean, I went through this roller coaster of emotions when I started reading these things.
Yeah, and I am so envious of the people who like can write these very heartfelt, very like nice, very extensive passages in people's yearbooks, because I don't have any I should have asked some other people to like send me things that I wrote in their yearbooks, but I didn't. I would assume though that it's not very good, because I think I probably wrote, not the same thing every time, but the same like basic format of like, this year was fun. A little memory of something that ties us together. Have a good summer. See you next year. My name. But the people who like really could pull a bunch of different things together, and especially like, I don't know if you had this experience too, but people who I don't really think I ever talked too much could still come through and be like, here are all these nice things about you. Keep it in mind. Okay, thank you.
Remember that time in science class when you said this and no one else laughed, but I chuckled? I remember.
Those are the ones that sort of weird me out occasionally. I kind of picture the dude from Billy Madison putting his lipstick on. I don't even remember. There's some very specific things like that where I'm like, man, I don't remember that at all. But that was like a really important moment for that person. It was like, probably glad I made friends with that person.
Yeah.
The worst part about all this is the reason I like flippantly was like, fuck yeah, I've always got my yearbooks, because I always have my yearbooks, including my Elma middle school yearbooks. I have 3 of them, and that's some insane shit. And I don't have them here, and I'm sorry. I fucked up.
It's all right. But, this is a deep topic, so you can probably draw from this well for quite a while.
Okay. Oh, yes, we'll do yearbooks part 2, part 3. I in my notes, I do want to open with one thing, which Chris and I have talked about this before. And Dustin, maybe you didn't experience this because you were a handsome young man who would go on to host the Realms of Strength podcast.
You're too.
But I was very. This is going to sound stupid because you knew me in high school. I was very image conscious. Now I look back and I know I wore exclusively baggy blank shirts and had fucked up hair. But like, I was concerned if people would write shit in my yearbook that was obscene or upsetting in some way. I was like, man, I don't want it, because what if this girl I like says, I get her to sign the yearbook, and the first thing she opens, well, actually, let's just do this. Yes. So the first thing she gets, well, here's this.
Oh
wow.
Have a little accident mid-jump? What is it?
That's what it always looked like to me. I'm shitting myself in midair.
Yeah.
But Dustin and I were just talking about my glorious form and inability to go anywhere. You could see me going straight down. That's how that works.
I love that.
This is what I'm talking about.
All right, I should have done the same thing so that we could pull this up, but now you got to the 95% of my yearbook.
100%. So I'm like, I'm not dating people in high school. I got crushes here and there, and I got a yearbook. This is my one chance to have a really good excuse to like talk to someone and be like, would you sign my yearbook? I'll write something in yours. And I'm like, don't flip to that page. Don't flip to that page.
I don't want to say I'm a connoisseur, but I might be able to tell you who drew that foul image without a signature.
I would love for you to guess. A lot of penises.
I mean, judging by the sloppy workmanship and the clearly rushed abilities, I'm going to say there's a high probability that came from the hand of Johnny Nunez.
I thought that would be your guess. Incorrect.
Oh.
I'm not going to out this person. I will tell you and then edit it out. This was...
Well, I mean, I'm right there because I mean,
you were right there.
I'm right there.
You knew that McCleary.
We should. Yeah, we came from the same art program. We had the same elementary art teacher.
Not
using names in here is probably fairly critical for all of us.
It's probably a good
I don't think I even have a nice message where I feel comfortable saying who wrote it. In the off chance they see this.
My first memory of this, and I feel shitty for it. And again, I'm not going to name names, but I especially feel shitty because one of the people have died since then. And that feels bad. But the thing to do at the time, this was middle school yearbooks, was to sign your name right in the crack of the yearbook and say, I'm the first to sign your crack. And middle school me, I was religious. This was obscene to me. So I have multiple middle school yearbooks where I have scratched out the crack of my yearbook because someone wrote, I signed your crack. And I didn't want people to see that and think that about me. Am I the only one this self-conscious about their yearbooks at that age?
I mean, I don't remember being self-conscious at the time. There are a couple years in between us, and I will say that my yearbooks, I have dickless yearbooks, you guys. There are no phallic drawings in my yearbooks.
Damn.
There's nobody who's proud to have signed the crack. None of that's in there. I will say that somebody did draw a very graphic Mortal Kombat drawing of somebody hanging by a noose is what it looks like, but it says it has the fatality and all Mortal Kombat characters, so it's not 100% problematic, but there's also there's definitely a level of the middle school and high school boy shock humor that's in there. There's definitely somebody who signed in between all the nice messages that's just I hope you get cancer and die.
Yes.
There's one other one that I was going to point out, and now I don't remember. Oh, it was somebody wrote a nice thing and then also wanted to do a little shocking tag of I'm not racist, but I am or I'm not super racist, but I am a little racist, white power. Oh no, I know that you wrote that so that I would read it later and be oh no, but and not that you believe it, but it's still looking back over 10 years later to be oh no, still why did you write this?
You should definitely put that guy's name out. Joke's on you.
Didn't think this would come back to you. Well, I got a bone to pick. No, I my girlfriend had pulled up one of my yearbooks to flip through it, and I still have that experience of don't do that. Yeah. You don't want to look. You don't want to see.
That's funny you say that because my wife and I have been together for almost 17 years now, and she grabbed my yearbook. That's how this all happened. I don't think she'd ever looked.
To be fair, same school.
Well, you'd think same school, but actually, I wish it was a school in rural Alaska. So she's well, I can't put faces to these names, as opposed to I know exactly all these people. In some ways, I might know them better than you. So it's this could get out of hand really quickly.
Yes.
So I was probably more self-conscious at 35 than I was at 18.
Yeah.
So
I feel it. But
yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably edit this out. I don't want to put it out there, but it should be known that same person who drew that penis in another yearbook also drew a portrait of Mario, Super Mario, but it was a Nazi.
An unsung hero in regards to creativity.
He's a very creative young man.
Do you think he drew Mario because you look like you're doing the Mario ground pound jump in that track and field photo?
Wow.
Also, the cool thing about that is, like, I was doing track in the 1950s based on that photo that you put out there. It's like, what was it like back then? Your kids are going to have, because everything advanced so quickly.
Yeah.
Your kids are going to look at that and be like, oh my gosh, like, what time was this? How old are you?
I wonder, and hey, with children of your own, someday you'll know. Are yearbooks still primarily black and white, or are they just all color now? They've got to be all color, right?
I think it probably depends on the school.
Budget?
I'm venturing to say that Elma High School's yearbooks in 2035 will be black and white.
Yeah.
Everyone else will probably have some sort of digital online yearbook on the cloud, is what I'm guessing. But
ooh.
I bet you we won't.
Interesting idea. Books are out.
I have trouble reading books online or on my phone or anything like that. I'm very much old school. I like printed things.
Yes.
I like
Luddite.
I like the yearbook, the hard copy.
Speaking
of
a
comic book, I don't want to read an online comic book. I want the hard copy.
And comic books are so hard.
Speaking of black and white versus color for these yearbooks, I do have this.
Don't bring back the white power thing.
Let's talk about it some more. Let's get everybody's opinions and see where we all stand. No, I have this from one of my yearbooks. They have all of the like photos and stuff upside down, and then every year they would put in this like the year in history or whatever in color and insert it into the middle of the yearbook. And I definitely took a photo of this one because everything else, like, it's printed upside down, and I don't know if that's like, hey, the spring of 2001, because this, by the way, is not the post 9/11 yearbook, which I will show you photos of. But I don't know if it's like, hey, 2001, the spring of 2001, we were turning stuff upside down. I don't know what the logic is behind this. I do love that the two big stars of 2001 are Frankie Muniz and George W. Bush.
I applaud.
Same.
I think that I thought it was funny at first, and I'm like, you know what? I think that does wrap up that time. Pretty well.
Because I mean, the 90s were just out of control, and that was like, we started to turn a corner. Like, it went from a straight riot to, all right, we can't be doing this anymore.
Okay, well, shit. That I need to then run through a few things. Dustin, I don't know if you had this in your yearbook, although I guess I do, because we had the same yearbook. I don't know if you went through these. I found these some years ago. Are you for or against the war in Iraq? Question to ask kids. Oh, there's my mouse. Are they guilty? Kobe Bryant? Michael Jackson? Scott Peterson? Let's see how many said yes.
I'm glad you pulled those up, because I brushed over those. That's gold.
We think, politically speaking, 25% thought Osama bin Laden is dead. 77% thought weapons of mass destruction did exist.
I'm now curious who is writing these questions.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Kobe Bryant trial, innocent. It was just a booty call.
Oh man, to have that quote attributed to you is incredible.
Also, I've left one name in here. The Red Sox winning the World Series. Heck yes, go Sox. Noah.
Yeah, that's
for shame. We're calling you out, Noah Hathaway.
An incredible group of quotes for that to be included with too. About so scandals and trials and the Red Sox winning the World Series.
Even a reference to dead people's ballots being dug up. That's thrilling. Anyways, your little encapsulation of 2001 just made me think of that. And I'm like, God, yeah, that made me laugh so hard. I'm like, why Why are we asking kids like, do you think Michael Jackson raped those kids?
Because because normally when you take polls, like, I don't feel like those statistics made it to the higher up places where they needed to. Like, they live and die in that that treasure chest right there. But those opinions matter.
Those opinions matter, and I have the names.
What year did we start school, Evan? 2004?
High school would have been 2003 or 4. Well, we graduated in 07.
This one doesn't have a date on it. What year was this?
You know what's bad is I know we graduated in 2008 or 2007, and my instinct when you held that up was that's 2008. I want to say 05 or 06.
I mean, it's nice.
You have one yearbook, I told you this, I think, that I didn't buy. A year went by. Because you had to pay money for these things.
Yeah.
We weren't flush with cash all the time. And I just chose, like, this year, I'm too cool for yearbooks. I'm never going to look back. Ever. And I regretted it. I've got that one.
That's the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, I also I have all of my elementary school yearbooks, all of my middle school yearbooks, and then I didn't get one freshman, sophomore, or junior year of high school. I did make my own in junior year because I was like,
wait, what?
Yeah. So
that's the only one I care about.
The most Chris thing I can imagine.
So, the first. For all of the yearbooks that I had, like, people weren't really like signing them the way that they would in high school. It was a lot of like, there are several just like in my old yearbooks, several like just autograph pages where like people just write their name and that's it. And so I was kind of like, well, I don't really care about this. And then in freshman,
it wasn't worth the $50.
Exactly. In freshman and sophomore year, then I saw people were like writing nice things, and I was like, well, I want nice things written about me. Absolutely. And so
I'm a nice boy.
I had just what I did was I just was like, I'm just gonna bring in this was I drew my own yearbook cover.
Dang.
And it's just it's just blank pages inside just so that people could sign it, because I was like, that's really all I care about is the validation from classmates that I mean something.
Now, is this you in the center?
That was me in the center. These were all, other classmates and things all around.
Is this, well, maybe no need to get into it. I was going to say, is this all people you liked? Or did you go out of your way to draw some people you didn't like?
Well, no. So to varying degrees. I was like, I think almost everybody on here I liked. And there was one who I was like, we've spent a lot of time together this year, and I don't particularly like this person, but I know that they'll make the biggest fuss out of not being on the cover. So let me cover my bases and put them on.
No fuss, no muss.
That's a lot of work you did there.
Yeah. And it definitely, there were, I think, a couple other people that were like, really? I'm not good enough to be on here, but whatever.
I love that.
Have you tried to do that after, like now? Like if you're like last day of job, like bring in like, hey, will you sign my...
Oh, that's a good idea.
I feel like you could probably
act like you're not coming back to work.
I don't
for
like.
3
Yeah,
months.
why'd you stop with the validation? Like if I ever switch jobs, I'm coming in with a book that I made with blank page. Be like, hey, sign my job.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. I like
that's how we're exiting.
Yeah.
You probably get really good feedback like, oh man, I wasn't doing as well as I thought I was.
Right.
I was not
speaking of that feedback, did you ever have teachers sign your yearbook?
It's happened.
That was a hard no. Pretty much after the first person to let sign this thing, it was burn after reading.
Yeah.
No teachers could touch this. I mean, there's a high probability that I would have either wound up in an office somewhere or just completely not in school anymore. But I appreciate. We could just go through the artwork in my book. I don't think you can see this. This is the kind of stuff. This is It's challenging, but this is 2 men on a boat. One shooting a seagull out of the air. The other one is catching some sort of a phallic object out of like a triumphant one, like a big 10-pounder, right out of the lake. I appreciate all that.
All right, there you are. You froze for a minute.
But you saw that trophy that we were catching out of the pool right there. The
yeah, I believe so. We got a freeze on that.
Yeah,
good. That was a good time for it to freeze, so everyone could get a good glimpse at that.
It is generally interesting to hear that drawing penises wasn't a huge thing for you, Chris.
Yeah,
because that was everything.
I mean, it was definitely like
out.
something people were doing in like their notebooks and stuff, but it like, I don't know if most of the people when yearbooks came out, they were like, hey, no. Let's keep it profesh. Let's draw penises everywhere else in the school, but not here. I think maybe that's what it was. I don't know.
Evan and I went to school with 90% heathen blood, so you probably just went to like a more upstanding part of society where like it's normal not to do that.
I was going to say
every surface and in people's books.
A sincere shout out to our good friend Dylan Thompson. It became a game. Every period he would go to, all of his friends would steal his notebook and draw penises all over it. Every class he went to.
Every class. Every class.
I didn't majorly participate, but I did participate a little. And I'm sorry,
there's no such thing. You can't save face. You either did or you did not.
Just a little bit.
That was one of those things. Not only did I participate, I orchestrated. I was putting out the memos in people's lockers, like, hey, Dylan leaves the room for any reason. You absolutely deface the inside of his books and his binders. What I think, the other thing too is like you just got such a great reaction out of him. I mean, he looked terrified when he came back to one of those. I'm sorry.
What kind of themes did your yearbooks have?
Themes?
Do you have any weird yearbook themes? Yeah.
Like personally, or like the cover scheme that we were going with?
Like, yeah, the cover or like whatever the yearbook like decided. I mean, as an example, like we had an entire like 70s like 2004 is groovy. That was one of our elementary school yearbook themes. I will show you the 9/11 yearbook.
You're ready for that.
I don't think you're referring to it as the 9/11 yearbook, but the internal theme on my book is exactly
that wasn't the theme, was it?
Yeah, it's like that's the internal theme on my book is congruent. It's all everyone was possessed by a dick devil of some kind, and that's just what we ran with. So my kids don't get to see these for a long time.
No,
so
go ahead.
Sorry, in that 70s yearbook, this is elementary school, so they would have all the elementary school students get together and make a big symbol. So this is a peace symbol that they put in the center of the yearbook. And so for that one year, obviously we had a yearbook that was Let Freedom Ring, with the American flag and the Statue of Liberty.
I have the exact same yearbook.
Do you really?
Elma Middle School.
The standard for that year?
This was a middle school
all
yearbook.
Students get this.
Fascinating. And this
probably a Department of Defense. We should probably ask everyone now. Does everyone's yearbook at given age have that exact photo in it?
Oh, that's so funny. And
we might be onto something.
That must be that year, which has never even occurred to me as it being a 9/11 yearbook.
Yeah, so that was the 2001 to 2002 yearbook, and then obviously they had us all go out on that same field. And this was a tough one because everybody had to wear a certain color. But they had us all go out and spell out USA on the field in red, white, and blue shirts.
We only did that once that I remember, and it was to spell Elma. And I was a bottom of the A, me and Johnny Nunez. More shout outs for Johnny.
Also,
we don't know where you are.
There's also multiple bare asses in that photo.
Are there?
Yes.
I believe it.
We can't do anything. That's what I said. You can't orchestrate heathens.
No, can't be done.
It can't be done. Yeah, but shout out to Johnny Nunez. I hope he hears this. Not that Johnny was one of them. He could have been one of them. I don't know. I'm not certain of that. But
I don't believe so.
I'm just gonna read.
Go for it.
Let's while you brought it up.
I'm
gonna read what Johnny Nunez had to say to me in 2004 at the end of the year.
Okay.
I'm guessing he didn't sign his name. I'm just going by the fact that he wrote in all caps, slanted to the side, like he was yelling everything.
Yeah.
But I also think that he yells everything sometimes.
That was another, not to interrupt, but another thing. We're just going to talk about Johnny a little bit. Johnny was a friend of ours. He's out there somewhere. I haven't talked to him in a long time. But when he would sign my yearbook, he would be like one of the first people to do it. And he would like fill the entire page just with massive letters just to be a dick and take up space.
Yep. He also, I erased, so being self-conscious, there's something that Johnny wrote that I erased in the beginning.
It happened.
So, I mean, for me to cleanse, to sanitize my yearbook,
yeah,
that says something. He's the only person I had to sanitize a message out of the yearbook ever for. But he left us with these beautiful remarks. Johnny is the king of the world. Fruity Hawaiian Punch is the shit, fool. Take that one to the bank. That's what we got.
Great.
We could probably follow this along and see. There's no way he hasn't signed all 4 of these, so
Absolutely.
we can see the progression.
Yeah,
through the years.
Going to the thesis of this podcast about feeling awkward. Did you ever, when you exchange yearbooks with somebody for them to sign yours and you to sign theirs, did you ever feel awkward when like you were done way before they were done in yours, or vice versa?
Terrible. Yeah, I don't feel like I was ever super long message writer. I'd keep it brief, like you said, just like, hey, great year, had fun with you, and blah 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 blah, blah, and then doing all the blah blah blah, blah bye. But then, yeah, some people. Next page. Yeah, get a little self-conscious about that for sure.
That's why you want the coveted last sign. Ooh. Is that a thing? You ever know that? You ever ask someone, like, clarify, like, hey, I'll sign your yearbook, but I'm the last one.
That may be the last sign.
That was a real alpha move in my book. Like, yeah, I'll sign it after everyone else. Also, you can kind of get a read on the layout, because I'm like, okay, what am I working with here?
Sure.
What have we done? What groundwork has been laid? You want a really good one? It's like, okay, all right, that's the best we got. I can do that. But if you go first, I'm like, crap. I'm setting the stage. I got a blank canvas. There's nothing more terrifying than a blank canvas. I do not want to be the first person. No. Especially if it's someone who it's like a fringe. Like, know enough that you could write someone. You could write a message
first.
But you don't want to be first, because I'm like, I don't have the flavor of where we're headed here. I don't want to part the waters and create the path, because like maybe this doesn't go the direction I think it is.
Everyone else's messages are just like, we hate you.
Yeah.
And you're the one that's like, hey.
No, it's a lot riding on the line in these situations. Not to mention, like, I was thinking about this the other day. Everything's like way more intense than it should be in that age range. Like,
absolutely.
Everything is fight or flight. It's massive. It's just the catastrophic or nothing. There's no like, oh, it's not a big deal. Like, I'll take care of it next week. I'll get over this. Everything has a 9/11 feel to it all the time. It's like, this is terror. This is chaos. Don't know what's going to happen after the fact. It might be the end. It's rough. It's a rough time. That's the thing. That's the hardest part of high school, is everything is like maxed out 24/7. Everything matters.
Yeah. And that was probably the best looking I ever was. I was just scared all the time.
Could you pull up a picture of you? For the life of me, I cannot remember haired Evan.
You know what sucks? There is because we were both in Elma Track and Field together for like 1 year. I know you weren't in track all the time, but we
not
were
all the time
together.
I dabbled.
Oh, in senior year, we were both in track and field, and there's a nice picture in the spring insert of our senior yearbook of you and I. It's all the seniors. It's you, me, Connor, Brandon. It's a very nice picture. You can tell I like the skinniest man in the world at the time. I've got a great I screenshotted a picture of myself in the yearbook. Weirdly, because having a beard became a lot of my personality for a minute there, I don't have a beard in any of my yearbook photos. I'm clean shaven and looking bad. But the one... Again, hey, maybe this gets edited out, but also we should just say his name. But in the yearbooks, my name is right next to someone who ended up being a youth pastor and touching a bunch of kids. And that sucks.
Yeah, because I don't know if you're like every time we get to that point in the yearbook, now I gotta look in the yearbook.
No,
when we get to that point,
I don't want to be associated with him.
Are you next to each other because
you're guilty
your
by
last
association.
names are similar, or
Yes.
because you have each other's arms around and you're like, whatever this guy does, I'm on board with?
Man, that's such a great idea. Someone must have done that, but like if like, hey, you're always going to be next to me. Let's acknowledge each other in our photos across, and they get printed together.
Yeah,
that would have been a really cool thing for a couple people to do.
Let's
get on top of it.
Let's Chris make a new yearbook, design it, and
Sure.
let's make a HowDoWeHuman yearbook, and we could do all the good fun stuff that we think of now. Because I was just thinking, if I were to sign people's yearbooks now, just in everyone's yearbook, right? Get well soon. And sign it. That would be funny to me now. I wish I'd done it then.
That is funny. You want something, and it carries on because, if I read that message now from you, I'm like, you know what? That still gives me something today. It's still good. The gift that keeps on giving. I like that.
Yeah. Wise words. Here's a thing. Looking through, I jokingly referred to that being me at my most attractive, which is probably true for most people. I didn't feel that way at the time, and I didn't date anybody at the time. But looking back at yearbooks, I have a lot of messages from women that are like, hey, I always thought you were cute. Shit like that. And I'm like, did I just not read this at the time? Or just completely invalidated in my head? Like, she's lying. I have no fucking idea. But surprising amount of attention from the ladies in my yearbook. Who knew?
That's
not me.
That's what it takes to have it come out.
Yeah. That's 20 years.
20. I mean, you shouldn't have waited that long to, go through there, Evan. You really might have messed up at the time.
I'm going through and DMing all of them now. Don't worry.
Good.
It's never too late.
Exactly.
There's a couple of those that wanted follow-ups as well in here. But I somehow made really large commitments to some of these people. So I'm like, there's no way that's happening.
30 years from now, we'll meet on the swing set.
Couple of those. Like, you swore to me that if you weren't married by 30, that you're going to give me A, B, C, and D.
Big.
I'm just telling everyone, young men, don't get caught up in this web of lies and games. You have no idea what you're wrong. Whatever you're saying, you're committing to 30 years. Don't even waste your breath.
Don't do it.
So don't do it. We're improving.
Do it.
I'm only guessing. Johnny signs us. He has a signature at this point, so we've come along a year.
He's evolved.
That's all I'm doing. He has a signature now, like a classy artist signature.
Fantastic.
And he drew us a family circus cartoon.
Oh. I can't read it, but I like it.
I like it. I didn't read it either. Probably should have read it before I put it up here. It's also is that backward? Is it going to be backwards?
No, we could. Yeah.
Okay.
Able to read that. I didn't get.
I think he's actually writing about a family circus cartoon. Like, there's no actual joke or punchline here.
I think that was the idea.
Yeah, it looked like he was just saying that those are the funniest ones.
Yep, and then he called me a bitch. Oh, wait, no, he did. At the very bottom, yeah, it says, Daddy, why does Bill Clinton piss in the wind?
It's a great question.
It feels like a family circus cartoon, actually.
It does. It's accurate.
It's very accurate. Kind of leaves me wondering.
A lot of promise, a lot of potential there, Mr. Nunez.
We need that picture in there. Looks like he should have been in the circus.
Oh man, yeah, that's the biggest. There's a lot of fun. There's one. I have one photographic regret. That it's the only time I was like, other than
what year? What year? What year and what page?
Senior year. The only 2 times I was like majorly featured in the yearbook, because I was like, I don't know. We've talked before. I was a little high school chameleon. I hung out with cool kids like Dustin on the football team and my little nerdy friends. I just flitted around and tried to make all the friends I could. So I wasn't like, oh, people are taking pictures of me for the yearbook. But there's that terrible track photo from the 1950s where I'm shitting my pants in midair.
It's not flattering, but it's not a terrible picture.
And then I was, there was I think the worst part of yearbooks, they ask, there's like a questionnaire that goes out. Is Kobe Bryant innocent? But like, there's a questionnaire that goes out that's just like, what is your best memory from high school? What is your favorite thing you did this? Who was your best friend this year? Shit like that. So they can make a page out of it. And this was like, what was your favorite, or like the hardest you laughed or whatever, your favorite memory from this year. And there was a time, our friend Brandon lived very nearby the school, and we could have off-campus lunches. So we would walk to his house and like play video games and eat lunch over there, and it was super fun. And there was one day we were just like fucking around, and he had a harmonica that I'd had it because I was a really cool kid. I had a harmonica on me, fucking John Popper over here. So Brandon took that. I was playing guitar, and Brandon was just like improvising a shitty blues song and pretending to play the harmonica, and it made me laugh a lot. And so I said that, and they're like, we love that answer so much that we want to take a picture of you. Bring your guitar to the high school at dawn. So I show up, and naturally, because what do you do at the time? I'm wearing a fucking fedora. Because that's the theme. We're talking about playing a blues song. There's a big fucking... I am the bulk of the page. Is me with my guitar sitting on the staircase outside the band room with a shitty fedora on my head. There's way too many photos of me with a fedora on. This is all I'm getting at.
I don't remember this.
It's bad, and I hate it. But it's in everyone's
I hope you're able
yearbook.
to find it, Dustin.
I'll find it.
If he doesn't, I'll grab it in August next time.
If there's one point to this podcast, is to see Evan in a fedora.
There's a series of photos. Because even when I was in a band playing rock and roll music, I wore a fedora because someone told me that's a good idea. Stand out from the crowd.
I similarly have a regret in my senior yearbook.
Love it. Let's go.
It's not so much the photo as it is the caption to the photo.
Ooh.
Now,
listen, I regret that caption also.
Context matters.
Because I mean, I probably should have, because I haven't, crossed out the names in this photo, I won't share it.
I can do it
but
after the fact if you'd like to share it.
All right, sure. if that's a promise you're willing to make, let's do it.
Absolutely.
So
just gonna
this
zoom in on the name.
a classic, Brady Bunch style image. Okay. I don't like this photo, but I especially don't like the caption, which I'll read in a moment. But basically, it's everybody looking at one another in different squares, so it all lines up. They've given me the looking down position, which is by far the worst one to have.
That's not a great angle for most people.
For anybody, but I get to have it. And then here's whatever. If that was just a wacky photo, it's fine.
6 vest.
Thank you. But the caption here at the bottom, I was not asked about this.
I'm not going out of my way to read it yet. I want to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Absolutely. 4 is a magic number. Even though senior, Chris Binning, is a year older than juniors Rebecca and Rachel and a whole 2 years older than Carissa, they are still closer than ever. They bonded over 2 years ago because of their mutual love of speech and debate, but when they are not competing and meowing, they can be found in the lunchroom simply being regular teens. I hate this caption.
You got ripped off there.
I got ripped off big. That I come off awful in this caption.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have had people
meowing, which I do not do. Being a regular teen, that's the thing I do not do.
No memory of that.
How much
why
meowing?
You gotta point out that I'm hanging out with the younger ladies. What is this?
Also, how much meowing before you're not one of the regular teens?
Exactly. Yeah. They seem like opposite ends.
When he's not doing the weirdest shit we could think of.
We haven't made it to
concert band.
There you are, Evan.
What am I doing? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Look how fucking skinny I was. It's fucked up. I was 140 pounds through most of school. I'm not that anymore.
I'm not giving you 140 in that photo. I'm sorry. I'm giving you 110. That's the best I can do.
It's fair.
Pre-lunch, you're 110.
Pre-lunch.
Looking for sweet fedora action.
I know. We got to find this. It's in there. It's a color photo too.
Did you feel bad looking through any of your guys' photos and being like, man, I didn't even talk to that person, not one time. Didn't even make eye contact with them. And not because you're being a jerk, but like we went to a fairly small school, and there's people in here. Where I'm like, I feel like I did a way better job. I think it's actually, this is an interesting point. I think I did a better job because in college, for some reason, you get more comfortable with yourself.
Sure.
I don't care how popular you are or what status you hold in high school. You are not confident. No, not one of us. Like no one is.
Yeah.
So like you're almost someone might think like, oh, like they got a bubbly personality, talk to everyone. No, everyone's self-conscious, and there's a whole bunch of people that you completely like you just missed. You didn't even know they were there. I think we're all guilty of it.
Absolutely. No, yeah. I think we were roughly 100 kids in our graduating class. And yeah, there's
another 35 were pregnant. 135. 100 of us were there. The others were,
some were graduating for 2. Yeah.
The others were pregnant or in the alternative school.
I'm walking with my baby
by that point.
No, but yeah, same. There's solid, and like you've got what, 6 classes, 5, 6? I don't even remember how high school works. 6 periods. Is that right?
I think it was 6. Yeah.
So you meet a lot of people. You're in classes with a lot of people, and there's like probably 6 or 7 people that I'm just like, I would have guessed you were in a different class, a different grade. I Nothing. You sparked
That's
nothing.
how I
and
felt
feel bad.
seeing photos from my high school reunion. I didn't go, but then I saw photos and I was like, I don't know any of these people.
Yeah. Well, you did go to the reunion for the younger girls, though, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just waited
we
a
were
few
closer
years.
than ever.
Do you at least know?
Like, how do you do, fellow regular teens?
Do you at least know what they're referring to with the meowing?
I do.
You do.
And it's because
inside joke sort of thing, or
no, it's because two of the girls in that photo, to make each other laugh, would meow in silence when there was like an awkward pause. Somebody would meow,
okay.
and then I know that came out.
That was a silent meow.
A poor grammatical structure.
You really got wrapped up in this whole meow game.
did.
I just don't feel like it was. I don't feel like it was fair to you.
It was not, and
You're a bystander.
I'm still waiting for an apology from the 2011 yearbook committee.
Yeah, I feel like we really broke down some journalism standards by getting you messed up with that crowd.
I do,
know.
Considering what Dustin's saying, where everyone is self-conscious at that time. Like at the time, it seemed like, it would be cool to work on the yearbook. I do feel bad for that though, because it's forever, and all high school yearbooks are really bad.
Yeah.
You can see the amount of bias for the people that worked in yearbook.
Yeah,
Come on, people.
I didn't have a lot of friends in the yearbook committee. I don't even know who was there.
Do you think I got caught up in the meowing as a punishment for not having purchased yearbooks the previous 3 years? Because this is the senior year. And also, I'd like to add the ugliest yearbook cover I've ever seen.
You're definitely on a list, I can tell you that. Whoever was orchestrating this whole thing, you're on the list, and it's like, hey, this guy is not getting out clean. If he isn't buying a yearbook, we are not going to paint him colorfully in the one that we are putting out.
Exactly. Look at this ugly cover.
That's a cover?
Made to look like mail. Yeah, I've turned it sideways, so up at the top, like this is the spine, or up here.
Interesting.
And it's just made to look like an envelope.
I mean, hey, they did it.
That's one of those things that like someone talks through and they think they're like being creative. Well, that's a creative idea. And then it comes out and it's like, it was creative, but it doesn't look good.
Exactly.
It's not always good.
It's not always good. The idea isn't always good.
That's amazing. We didn't have anything like literally all our themes for the yearbooks are just like looking back, remembering friends.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not trying to throw shade on the yearbook committee, but also I kind of am.
Definitely should. I mean, Brienne was part of that.
I was gonna say, was your wife?
She can't be trusted. I'm pretty sure she was part of it the whole time. So, yeah, probably a ton of bias.
Breezy.
Also, this is conjuring up my one of my claims to fame.
Great.
Operation Hostile Takeover of a student body.
What?
The last week of case in point, do you remember me being part of the student body? Did I have any business being on that?
Absolutely not.
Council body?
No, I have no memory of that. And you should not have been
there is no memory of that. Yet here I am, also in some honor society photos that I was a few steps away from ever should have been included in that photo.
Not to interrupt. I was in the honor society and I remember showing up for one meeting and then I just never showed up again. And it's not even a strong memory of like making that choice. I just stopped going.
See, so case in point, I wasn't invited. I shouldn't have been invited. But come photo day, guess who showed up?
Yeah.
Like he's been there the whole time putting in the work. This guy.
He did it.
No, Operation Hostile Takeover was me finding out that I didn't care for the running bodies for our senior class of ASB. So in the last 3 days of election, I basically ran it like a real political campaign. I put out a whole bunch of slander. I badmouthed people. I put myself in the running, and I basically had myself and everyone else that I didn't want to win positions running uncontested. I
have no memory.
Beat him out. I know. That's why it was such a slick operation. No one knows this happened behind the scenes. I looked. It was time to vote. I look at what's happening. I see that there's kind of a one-sided running lane here, and it looks like it's going to be a straight takeover of a very specific, I don't want to say demographic because that's not the wrong word. It puts a bad light
Let's not go there.
But there was a certain personality type that was about to take full command, and I saw, tyrannical overlord was pumping through my blood. So with a very finite window, I found what I thought was a suitable running body, and basically ran my smear campaign, and we took it over.
Here's the thing.
And that's why people don't remember. I think I put myself in like a low-level position, because I was smart enough to know, like, you shouldn't be president. That's a little bit too much.
Yeah.
But I could throw myself in there as, treasurer, I believe, something like that. And then, find suitable candidates that I could manipulate behind the scenes in the higher level positions. This is my life.
Your puppet government. Here's the thing. I've known Dustin for a long time. We've been pretty good friends for a long time. And my memory of being friends with Dustin is we'd have long stretches of like, yeah, we're hanging out, we're doing stuff. And then Dustin would just kind of disappear for like a year at a time. This is what was going on. We'd just be like, where's Dustin? I don't know. None of us can get a hold of him. He's out taking over the school. He's January 6ing all over Elma High School.
It's tough being one man when you're trying to run an operation like that. So, it took my full focus at times, and I had a system, but it was best. I was doing it because I loved you guys, and I didn't want you to get wrapped up in my nonsense.
Keeping us out.
I didn't want to mix business and family, and that's what it took. I had to really, really, fall on the sword to make things happen.
This is amazing.
Also, I might have been an alcoholic, but
who could say it?
We've made it. We made it through.
We've made it. Drinking that big old cup of Bailey's.
That is a rockin' super coffee today.
Super coffee.
It's regular coffee with synthetic caffeine just pumped right into it. I had a long week last week, and I wanted to come with the heat today.
Okay.
I didn't want to disappoint.
Hey, you never disappoint. Oh.
Except when it comes to finding this fedora photo. What?
That's a very good point, Chris. Yeah, I've really dropped the ball. Wait.
Oh, is it happening?
Well, I thought I might have crossed it for a second.
Flip through.
Also, this is the crown jewel of what you want. I'm probably not going to read this, but this is how you hack the system. You're like, if you don't want to be, whoever did this, this is smart, because I was just saying, like, you want to be if it's something important, like, you need to leave a good message to someone.
Yeah.
Especially like all the girls that confess their undying love for Evan. It's like you typically want to be the last person when you leave that message.
Sure.
Or you can hand type something and then slip it in their yearbook.
Wow.
Dope.
That's next level stuff.
That's amazing.
I'd be too worried about it falling out of the yearbook and getting into the wrong hands.
I'm just concerned of how this was signed, because it says, always in my prayers. Makes it feel like it's a death note of some kind.
Follow up with them. Be like, are you still?
Am I still in your prayers?
Still in your prayers?
Actually, this person might be in prison.
Was this the pastor again?
No, this is not the pastor, but similar. This was someone going of the going faith and a regular church attendee.
I don't know who this is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure something really fouled up happened. This was a left curve.
Oh, throw it at me. I'll edit it out. Are
you sure?
I gotta know. And yes, I promise I'll edit it out.
What if it's good, Evan?
What if it's good
for the? What if it's good content?
If our 30 listeners are gonna love it, it stays.
I'm concerned here, because like this is, I don't want to get wrapped up in the meowing incident like Chris did. This is gonna wrap. This is like, I don't know. I might be an accessory at this point.
Could follow you.
It's fair,
especially because I can't quite remember what happened here. A quick AI Google search will probably fill us in on all the problems here, but see, this is what I'm talking about. These things make you uncomfortable. You come across something like this, and there's people in prison and dead people all over this yearbook.
Yeah. No. We a weird amount of people in our class have passed at very young ages. Makes yearbooks a little sad.
So if I say this name, you're going to edit it out. We can
100%. Or if you want to be safe as fuck, there's a little chat function in here, and you can just type it to me, or you can hold it until we're done. But I gotta know. You can't tell me one of the 100 people we went to school with is in prison and not tell me.
Well, what if? Well, now we've built this whole thing. Now we've built this whole thing up. So what if they're not? What if I'm just making? I remember something really, really chaotic happened.
I'll leave it to you. I've pulled it up while you're looking for this. If you don't want this read, no. Can I read the insane shit that I wrote in your yearbook?
Now it's in your look. I've passed the torch. This is your podcast and it's in your hands. So, you can wash the blood off. I don't care.
So in the very, very top corner of your yearbook, someone wrote DC, which is your initials.
That could be anyone.
So I don't. It could be anyone.
That could be anyone. You know how many? Those are common initials, Evan.
So that was the first thing written in your yearbook. I pointed an arrow to it and I wrote "doesn't count." I'm the first to sign this thing, so I wanted to be first. Now
that's true.
I moved to "What's up, Mr. Wick? Way to pretend you're a Lutheran and a Mormon. Hardcore. See you around, suck a duck. Evan Rock Hard Cox."
Which I refuse to believe you don't go by that currently.
I should.
You should go by that.
I went by that a little bit. It was...
When you get older,
this is
tougher to go by that.
It was,
but that comment alone makes me really think, like, was I just infiltrating religious groups in high school?
I know exactly what I was. I mean, maybe to a certain degree. I know exactly
for the school.
I know exactly what I was referencing when I said that. It sounds more insane than it was.
Yes, I got into a Lutheran college. I know what you meant.
That's right. That was that part of it. He got into a Lutheran college, and for a while, when we didn't see you for a while, you were dating a Mormon girl. And so it was jarring to read that. Like, I have no memory of being that person. We all have the rainbow memories of ourselves. Like, no, yeah, I was a really funny kid. Oh, I made my friends laugh all the time. And I read that, I'm like, what the fuck is that?
As we do start to wrap up here, I will also, you said, oh, maybe I went to a more upstanding part of society for that there were no dicks in my yearbook. But I will say that there is somebody that I did go to school with that did go to prison.
Nice.
So, it's for cryptocurrency scams.
Really?
Yes.
See, that's why you don't have any dicks in your yearbook.
Yeah.
You went to school with professionals. People that are capable of cryptocurrency scams usually aren't diving into the depths of, me leaving phallic symbols on people's books. That's a different cut of humor.
That's fair. Oh, we got
we don't dabble down here in the cesspool that we call high school.
Yeah, check this link out.
Yeah, I did send you a link in case you wanted to check that out. There's,
amazing.
There's not much more to be said about it, but
absolutely.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Something there is more to be said about are many topics of this podcast, which you can find on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Pocket Casts, HowDoWeHuman.com. Anywhere that you get your podcasts, you can get new episodes of How Do We Human every single Monday, as well as almost our entire back catalog, unless you're on Spotify, and then a couple of those episodes are gone.
Sorry, Bo Donaldson.
Wiped
from history.
Also, check us out on our social media. We're on Instagram at HowDoWeHuman.
Ooh, we got that handle.
You can check us out on Facebook at HowDoWeHuman.
I don't think you're ready for that handle.
You can find us on YouTube. You can see some of these images we were sharing on our screens at YouTube at HowDoWeHuman.
That handle, it's a scandal.
You can also, you know what you guys can do? You can leave a voicemail.
You can. It's true.
At 323-657-9896.
Talking is better when talking gets wetter. Leave us a voicemail, please.
You can also send us an email to howdowehumanpod@gmail.com.
The best part of that handle is that it's an email. Chaka, 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 chaka.
A big thank you to Dustin for joining us for this episode, and not only joining it, but suggesting the topic in
we
general.
love topic suggestions.
I may have made a suggestion for a milk topic as well.
That is true. He was the origin of the milk episode, which is a classic.
For all the great ideas that just, don't really fit my genre.
We always welcome new topic ideas. We're sad we don't have my fedora photo. I'll have to find it. Whatever. Another shout out, Dustin. One of, I don't know if you know this, Chris. One of, I think, 3 people that watched our live stream of the Oscars, or at least a portion of it.
I'm going to be honest with you. You were far better than the Oscars.
That was our goal. To eat M&Ms and be funnier than the Oscars, and we were all out of M&Ms.
I forgot about that, but I do remember that
now. We appreciated that, and we appreciate you. Chris and I were talking about this before we got started, and we didn't really decide what we're doing. Do you want to take a quiz with us? Do you have time?
I absolutely want to take a quiz.
Okay. We've been taking quizzes. I don't know if you're current on the podcast. We've been taking quiz at the end of each episode for a long time now. We're playing to 100. Neither of us is to 50 quite yet.
Yeah, the current score is myself with 47 points and Evan with 42 points. This is a 5-question quiz.
And Dustin, we will let you rack up points, but it's going to be a long road to get to 100.
I'll have to do this again so I can at least get in the running.
Okay.
If I only get one quiz, this is equivalent of Evan running the 100-meter dash. Everyone's so far ahead of me, I just might as well lay down.
All right. Question 1. It's good that you're able to all see this word because I cannot pronounce it. But acetylsalicylic acid is the chemical name for what?
Woof.
Aleve, aspirin, Advil, or naproxen?
As usual.
Am I checking a box on here?
What's that?
Do I have to check a box on here?
No, we kind of just talk it out.
Yeah, and then I'll end up clicking whichever one I pick, but I'll keep track here.
I don't want to lead people, but just say the answer when I've got it, if that makes sense. I have, as usual, a poorly educated guess. Call it an Alma educated guess. Because I feel like I know roughly the chemical name for 3 of these, and I'm probably wrong because I'm not that smart. But I'm going to guess naproxen.
Okay. I'm going to guess aspirin, and that is based on absolutely nothing.
Just wanted to say ass.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that aspirin.
You think,
I'm close to going with Chris. I think I'm going to go with aspirin.
All right. Now I'm going to look like an idiot. Damn it!
It was aspirin.
All right. Question 2. What type of lettuce should be used in a classic Caesar salad? Iceberg, coral, butterhead, or romaine?
Well, this is an obvious one.
You think?
I'm going to go with iceberg right out of the gate.
Okay. I was thinking iceberg. I know romaine is like the preferred lettuce, but
You just
classic fucks you up because by classic, the Caesar salad was invented probably by a man named Caesar. Milan? Maybe.
The salad whisperer, yep.
It was in Rome and romaine. Could there be a connection there? Romaine? Rome.
I feel like romaine.
Caesar.
It makes me think one of these other two because I don't know what the fuck coral lettuce is. I know butter
let's
lettuce.
just write that one off. That's just there's always one that's definitely wrong. That's definitely wrong.
I think I'm gonna run with you this time, and let's just assume Dustin's smarter than us and agree with Dustin through everything. I'm gonna say
as soon as you
iceberg.
agree with me, I'm changing my answer.
I'm going with iceberg.
All right, I'm going with romaine.
Bastard.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I wouldn't have picked romaine until you said Rome and romaine.
Just using some classic logic there, which probably will leave me hell on.
Yeah, you know what?
Fuck.
I'm gonna stick with Dustin on this one. I'm gonna go romaine.
Bullshit.
Yes.
Yeah, and we're setting them up now.
Oh,
all right, this is
come
good
on.
stuff. This is an easy one. This is a layup for everybody. Okay.
I believe.
Which movie was
that's-
Pixar's first feature film?
Yeah.
Monsters Inc., Toy Story, Finding Nemo, or A Bug's Life?
That's got to be. That's Toy Story, right?
That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
That's what I want to say.
It is Toy Story.
Got to be Toy Story.
All right, we all got that one right.
Pax was the Roman goddess of what? Time, youth, peace, or revenge? Pax. It's that gaming conference in Seattle that no longer exists.
Well, if it's a gaming conference in Seattle, then I'm going to go with revenge.
Pax was the Roman goddess Pax. I feel like sometimes there's like, oh, that sounds like this. This means nothing to me. My logic could only bring me to like, they both start with a P, so maybe it's peace. But that feels stupid.
I'm just as likely to go with romaine here.
I'm going to say youth. How do you like that?
Okay, I'm going to go peace. So we all have a different answer, which means, of course, it's going to be time. But I'm going to say peace.
Fuck!
Oh, it was peace!
God damn it! I'm getting left in the dust!
This is quite possibly the best I've ever done at this.
I think, absolutely.
Revenge does sound like a bad god, because like that's a real broad brushstroke.
What the answer was? Which one? Peace.
The answer was peace.
It was.
Because they both start with
both
P,
start
Evan.
with P. God damn it!
It's rare too that we have
this is easy.
2 questions that are in my wheelhouse, but here we go.
He's going 5 for 5.
In Disney's Alice in Wonderland, what is the white rabbit constantly worried about? Being late, getting fat, being eaten, or getting lost?
I mean, listen, these are all things I'm worried about most days. The rabbit talked about one of these things a lot. That doesn't mean he isn't constantly concerned about getting fat.
He was already kind of
He's
fat,
a little chubby little rabbit. Being late.
There we go.
Yep, being late is also my answer. And that's it. I did go 5 for 5. Gave me a little brainiac thing
I think that's
there.
Is that the first time either of us has aced it?
I
think I've
think
gotten
so.
4 a couple times. I think
You've gotten
last
4
week.
several times.
Bastard.
But that specific round, that was Chris with 5 points, Dustin with 4 points, and Evan with 2 points.
Awesome. Dustin, you're never welcome back.
On the board.
He is on the board.
He's on the board. I will add it to our totals down here.
Expand the spreadsheet. Oh God, that sucked. All right. Well, let's wrap this up. This was fun. I'm sad we can't find a fedora photo of me.
Me too.
Maybe someday
Best
I'll
I can
share
do you
it.
is this.
This
is a big full pager.
That's a Johnny. Yeah, that's a Johnny drawing. What
full pager
what
right
did it
there.
say at the top? It mentioned me.
Oh, it did. Oh yeah, you're actually in. That's
one of those is me.
Photos is you. This one, the one with the arm tat. That's Evan right there.
If I know Johnny, he drew an extreme. I was going to say an extremely lazy eye because he was always so kind about that. But hey, I appreciate the not embellishment at all.
It said that you and him were plotting to kick my ass in this scene that he drew here.
Sounds about right. And all.
Kick that aspirin. Okay, bye.
Bye.